Welcome to SUSD Spotlight, your go-to source for all things happening within the district. Whether it's celebrating student and staff achievements, delving into trending education topics, or highlighting inspiring human interest stories, we've got you covered. Join us as we illuminate the incredible endeavors taking place in our schools and forge connections within our community. Get ready to be informed, inspired, and engaged as we embark on this journey together, spotlighting the extraordinary in SUSD. Well, welcome to another edition of SUSD Spotlight. Today we're really excited to talk about innovation that's taking place at Laguna Prep. Thank you for joining us today, and I'm going to ask our guests to introduce themselves for our listeners. I'll start with you.
Hi there, I'm Mr. Brian Vogan, 5th grade teacher from Laguna Elementary School.
And I am Stephanie Shammy. I'm the gifted specialist at Laguna Elementary.
And I'm Chrissy Kelly, proud principal, and we just renamed our school, Laguna Elementary, to Laguna Prep. So we're very excited to have everyone come join us.
It is really exciting, and I know that you have been working in terms of being a STEAM-accredited school for some time, but you applied for and received an SUSD Innovation Grant. So maybe we can start by talking about what the idea was behind that and how it advances Laguna's commitment to STEAM education.
Yeah, so with our STEAM accreditation, we're looking for strategic teaching to engage all minds. And so as we do that, we were looking for the future ways to engage minds from kindergarten all the way up through 5th grade. So the Innovation Grant was kind of meant to help us acquire materials that would engage our kiddos that are as low as kindergarten with robotics and with programming, all the way up to our 5th graders, still using the same programming but a little bit more sophisticated languaging, different tools, and then getting them hands-on with some robotics, some drones, and different devices that allow them to both program it and then also utilize it.
Well, that's fantastic. So tell me more about the drones, because I hadn't heard about the drones.
Want to take that one? Or?
We'll share that question. We ended up getting drones sort of late in the game, so we've only had them for a little while because they needed to be approved and get all of that done, and then we are slowly rolling them out. So the kids have learned actually how to use the handheld and how to create. We had a challenge for them where they had to fly. They had to start in a landing pad at so many feet, and then they had to fly under a bridge at so many feet, and then they had to make a 180 turn, and then they had to fly up through another passageway at so many feet. And they were engaging in mathematical conversations while they were doing this so that they could be discussing how high, how low, and integrating math content with the drones. But they are having lots of fun, and everyone in the school eventually we'll roll this out. We've been using it in our grades 3-5 makerspace and robotics club to start, and then they will be the leaders for the rest of the different grades and campuses.
And just to piggyback off of that, it was really enjoyable to watch those first few experiences with the drones, because these kids are in our makerspace club, but they are some of the leaders within our classrooms, right? But it was really impressive to see the way they cheered one another on as they were kind of engaging with this new material and this new item, which was different for what they've already done before. And they were learning how to take off and learning how to land. And they were truly excited for their peers, even though they were still waiting for their turn, right? You know, and so it was kind of this excitement that they were going to get the chance to do it, but it wasn't an impatience. It was an actual meaningful supporting of peers. That is kind of what we do, right? That's what.
And how difficult is the programming of the drone?
Well, the programming aspect has not been. We've just scratched the surface of the programming aspect. I think right now we're still utilizing kind of the controller, the handheld controller. I think that's what makes it so exciting, though, because within the first 15 minutes of doing the simplest task, there was a level of excitement that we're gonna be able to move forward, primarily next year. But we have some solid 3rd and 4th graders that are working on it right now that will be our 4th and 5th graders next year that will be able to become, the mini experts on it. And we've been doing this long enough that usually once we get the kids' hands on the materials, they quickly surpass our understanding and our ability. And so a lot of times we kind of lean into what their strengths are and how they can support our mission to engage all the minds. And
I know you mentioned that this is primarily right now benefiting the students that are in the club, but is there also a vision for next year or any time in the future for it to be woven into the other sort of general education classes, or what does that look like?
We have already done that this year. That was our goal, was to go ahead and roll out different robots, different technologies for different grade levels where we thought would be appropriate. So we have our kindergarten and our first grade and our second grade where we rolled out the Ozabots. So they have learned how to use different coding with markers and different colors of markers to be able to program those robots to do different things. And then they've also been given challenges that they can try to build something and create something that the Ozabot has a path that they need to travel from point A to point B. And that's done in STEAM class mostly, and in makerspace and robotics club. So all of those kids have been exposed and had time to play and get to know and research and learn about those robots. The Makeys have mainly been used with the 5th grade, and then we're doing also music class with that. So we're trying to roll it out to specials as well. And then we have the
Edison bots.
Edison.
The 3rd graders and the 4th graders have really been flourishing with the Edison bots. So the drone is kind of our newest toy, and it's the one that we want to make sure we engage with a little bit before we roll it out to everybody right away. But yeah, since we've been able to get materials in late December, we have immediately put those into place with all of our learners on campus. Diana Davis has done an excellent job doing that with our STEAM class. And it's actually really neat to kind of watch 1st graders and 2nd graders kind of attack a similar challenge to our 5th graders. And just seeing the different way that they approach it. And in some ways, a very similar method because they're all starting out fresh, right? And just kind of seeing the way they are using different variables on their track and talking about, well, if I change this one thing, then this is going to happen next. So kind of we're getting into those, the variables, the independent variable, the dependent variable. So then we can start using that to introduce the scientific language behind it. And so then they're using all of it, right? They're using science, they're using technology and engineering all at one time, all in one shot.
So we're getting close to the end of the school year, and as you reflect on kind of the highlights of this year, what are the things that you would like to celebrate?
I would like to celebrate us receiving this grant. It was huge for our campus because we want to be cutting edge. We are a STEAM school, and we feel that integrating the science, the technology, the math, all of that is essential for our kids. And they are doing, and the art as well. Like those Edison robots, they are able to really make some cool designs. And then we talk about the math with the designs, like 180, 360, 90 degrees. So the coding, beginning coding with all of these different technologies is essential for, it's future focused, right? And so we're preparing them for future jobs that they may have one day. And I think that's one of the most exciting things, especially with the drones, is why are we learning this? Why do we need to know this? How is this going to help us in the future? And we're just catching up, and those kids just fly with their investigations. We're all about inquiry-based, right? So they get excited, and then they want to learn more, and then they're researching, and then they're teaching us and teaching each other. And that's the part that's really, I think, exciting, to be able to engage with these new technologies to make us cutting edge, and so that we can continue to do more professional development, get more teachers involved, make it cross-curricular more, so it's not just another thing. It's part of who we are. It's part of what we do.
And so do students have the STEAM class as part of their specials rotation? Is that where this fits in, or are all the staff members as prepared as you all are to deliver this?
That's a great question. Actually, both. They do have a STEAM special class that the entire school goes through, kindergarten through 5th grade, but all of our staff has also been trained in STEAM teaching techniques and classes, and so it's cross-curricular. And something that really sets Laguna apart is we are a STEAM school, which stands for science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. And a lot of parents think, oh, I'd like to go to a STEM school. We're extra special because we throw in the A for the arts. We have a really robust arts program, and so we are an A+ STEAM school. We've got choir, drama. We actually have Lion King being performed later on this week. We've got orchestra, strings, after-school clubs as well. So we really do it all at Laguna, and I think it's what really sets us apart.
Just to piggyback off of that, kind of going back to the celebrating what we've done this year, the word opportunity. I have yet to meet two kids that are the exact same. in my career. And every kid comes to us with different backgrounds, different perspectives, different abilities, and different wants. And I think what we do at Laguna is we continue to say, hey, we've got 100 things. Let's give them 5 more opportunities to grow. And sometimes it might be a little overwhelming, but ultimately, every kid can come to Laguna and find something that they love, that they can thrive in and that they can grow in. And so when I'm going to celebrate the fact that, yeah, we got the grant, but that just allowed us to continue to create more opportunities for our students. And that's pretty exciting.
Are there opportunities for people to volunteer, parents or business owners, other people in the community who might have some time and would like to support the work that you're doing at Laguna?
Absolutely. You can visit our website, www.susd.org, and it'll take you right to Laguna, or you can call our front office, 480-484-2400. We had Career Day today where we had community members and parents come in and they volunteered their time and they spoke for our students, which was awesome. We also have after-school tutoring, which is free for students that actually Desert Mountain High School students come and they do it on Thursdays. We do partner a lot with our senior citizens at the senior Scottsdale Ranch Senior Citizen area, which is right next door. We have every Fridays we have got Laguna Dads. We call them lads. They come and play with the kids at recess. Mondays with moms. They play with our kids on Mondays. We want parents and families on campus. We celebrate those relationships. Those are so important to Laguna. And ever since COVID, we've discovered how important they are. So to piggyback on what Mr. Vogan said, we wanted to rename our school Laguna Prep because we are prepping kids for their future. We want them to get along with their community members. We want them to know they are an extra resource. We want them to embrace all these important relationships, and we want to prep them for their future. So that's something that's been really important at Laguna, is to bring all these people into and onto our campus. We have lots of different community relationships that I'd like Mrs. Shammy to highlight for you, including ASU.
Yes, all kinds of community relationships from our surrounding area high schools and middle school, but also like right now we're working on a partnership with the drones, the Scottsdale Police Department, and also the Forest Service. So we're looking for some new great resources to connect with us to help us with the drones so that the kids can understand the real life application for that. So we have great partnerships with ASU and Camp Tonazona, wonderful science integration that we just took 5th graders on a 3-day overnight up there.
And you lived to tell the story.
Yes.
We've lived through several of them. It's
Many,
kind of an
many.
annual fun time. But we also have Maricopa, the Maricopa County Flood Control comes out and helps with our STEAM night, and we build those relationships, and we've been fortunate to build them because then we can just call on them and they're like, yeah, we're there. What do you need, Laguna? And they come and they will talk to the kids. They'll do specialized events. We're pretty fortunate that way.
Well, all 3 of you are incredible ambassadors for Laguna Prep, and more importantly, the work that you do on behalf of students and their success, creating those opportunities, leaning into innovation in ways that probably were at the front of the pack in terms of your pursuit of STEAM accreditation. It's all worth celebrating, and we're so glad that you agreed to do this podcast with us to be able to tell your story. And we want to thank our listeners for tuning into this episode of SUSD Spotlight.
We definitely hope that you enjoyed this episode, and we'll explore our library of SUSD Spotlight episodes because they truly shine a light on the extraordinary things that are happening in our district around our multitude of schools that really set us apart from the rest.